Welcome to the Golden State Media Concepts Life and Happiness Podcast, the show that takes you on a journey of exploration. We'll discuss tried and true methods alongside the latest trends of how to best live your life to its fullest and happiest. From psychology to meditation, science to self-help books, the GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast will help you to discover what makes you happy and how you can live life being the best you possible.
Hello and welcome to GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Alyssa Jo, and happy 2020, everybody. It is the new year. It is so exciting. We get to reboot our lives in a new decade, in a new year, and I just can't wait to see what 2020 brings. It's just so exciting. So I thought I would do today's episode on morning routines and why morning routines work. Since it's, a new year, everyone's kind of got some New Year's resolutions going on. I know in the past few episodes, I've been talking a lot about New Year's resolutions and goals and jumpstarting a happy and healthy 2020. And that's just exactly what I want to talk about like morning routines and why those help you do the things that you want and achieve the goals that you want to achieve. I wasn't always a morning person. I definitely I was kind of forced into being a morning person because of a new lifestyle change and in a new environment that I was in. But since becoming a morning person and developing a morning routine, my life has it's crazy the difference that it's made. And so I think it's just a great way to start your day properly so that you can boot your entire day positively and in a good mindset and prepared, right? So how do you know if a morning routine is right for you? I think that you can interchange everything that I'm talking about to work for you if you're more of a night person. So how do you know if a morning routine is right for you? I know a lot of us say, okay, I am a night owl. I like to stay up late and sleep in later in the morning, or I cannot turn off my alarm in the morning. And I get that. And I think you can interchange a lot of the things that I'm going to talk about today to nighttime. But I am a little bit biased. I do think a morning routine is the perfect way to jumpstart your day in the proper and healthy way. Because I think it just sets you up for such a successful and organized, just being in the right mindset. But you got to determine, right, if you are more of a morning person or a night person. But I think, after this episode, you might just become a morning person. So what establishes you as a morning or night person? Okay, so maybe you're a little bit of both. And this is how I feel, or I felt. No, I still feel like I'm both a morning and night person, but I'm trying to change my ways. So sometimes you may think that you're a night person because 10 p.m. comes around and suddenly you have a burst of energy. You want to do all the things, to set up your next day. But then maybe sometimes you're ready to wake up early and get your day going. So you really have to decide which one is more for you. It could just depend on your daily life routine as well. Like I said, since I had some life changes, I kind of was forced into being a morning person because that's the only time I had to myself, and I had to do my morning workouts and stuff because life got so hectic. So I was kind of forced into doing it, but since I have been, things are just crazy different and better and amazing. You do kind of need to pick one. I do have somewhat of a night routine as well, but it's a little bit different than your morning routine. So how do you know if a steady morning routine is right for you? If you feel like you're running out of time during the day, that you don't have enough time to do the things you need to do on a day-to-day basis, just setting up a routine can really organize and prioritize your time We usually have something that we have to show up for every single day, whether that be like work or school or like some kind of thing that like we need to do every single day or most days out of the week, right? And so we need to make sure that we put aside time for ourselves, because there is always something that we have to do on our day-to-day list. I have to get this done today. I have to do this, right? Usually, like I said, it's work or school or something like that. But what about the things that you don't always get to check into? Like, we go to work and we check into work and we work 8 hours or whatever it is, and then we check out, right? Those are things that we always have to get done. But then there is always these things that we kind of push to the side because we feel like we have no time for it. So we have to prioritize those other things most of the time, and it's hard. We try to like make things, push it into our busy schedule, and then it doesn't always get done, or it doesn't get done like properly. Things like reading or like working out, self-reflection, journaling, like the things that we generally want to do and even need to do, but we just like don't always have time for. We say that we'll do them later when we have more time, like researching your goals or getting deep into like a hobby. We always have an excuse to not do these things. Like, I'm just too busy. This is when we start to feel like so overwhelmed in our lives because we don't have enough time to do the things we want to or need to. So we're just constantly adding to our list, and that's overwhelming. I am a list maker. I make lists for my list, and it's true. If I keep pushing the things aside that I know that I need and want to do, my list gets bigger, and then I get more and more stressed. I'm like, I really am too busy, but it's like, if you can just like sit down and tackle the things or like put aside a time to do those things, then you don't have to keep adding to your list. Do you feel prepared for your day, or do you always feel like you're rushed in the morning? Do you feel like you're forgetting things, or you go to school and work and you realize like you left your lunch on the counter or something like that, or like, oh no, like my flat iron is left on. Like, you feel kind of like a mess. Being in a rush in the morning sets you up for a stressful day because you feel so unorganized, you feel so out of place, and like a lot of the time we can't get our stuff together, right? We don't make time for lunch, or we don't iron our shirt, and the rest of our day just like feels so out of place, and we feel like we could just be doing better. If you feel like you could just be more set, more organized for your day, then like a steady morning routine is for you. Like, get up and be organized. We wake up and we show up to work or school every day or whatever our commitment is because we're working on building the life of our dreams, right? We wake up for our job because like this is what we want to work for. This is what we want in life. We're trying to build a happy and healthy life that we truly want. So whether we are working like towards a career goal or whatever it is, we just want to build the life that we dream of. So when you feel organized and prepared for your day, you feel like you're starting it off in the right way, or like you're ending it off in the right way. You're giving yourself more time to like optimize the time that you have for like opportunities. Because like if we're so busy and like we have this like never ending to-do list of all the things we keep pushing aside, then we start saying no to opportunities, to like things that life throws at us that could be amazing, but we say no because we just like don't have enough time, and now we're losing out on like life experiences. And it's simply because we don't prioritize or like organize our life in the way that we should, so that we can optimize those chances and we can take life at full force and do those things. So you've heard the quote, one positive thought in the morning can change your entire day. What if I told you that a positive sequence of action could change your entire life, your entire day, even more than just one positive thought? If you're doing positive things in the morning that are going to benefit your day, like getting you organized and prepared, it's going to change your entire day. You're setting yourself up for a positive and happy life by doing these things. So like, what could one positive action do? What if you like woke up in the morning, went to the gym? That's like your one positive action. You like got up and you worked out. That could change your life. That can make you reach your goals, your body goals, the things that you want. So what if you did like a sequence of actions? Positive actions in the morning. You woke up, you read a chapter of your favorite book that you're reading, you made a really healthy, organic breakfast, and then you went to the gym and got ready. Okay, so now you're like doing all these positive things that are setting you up for the life that you want. You know, knowing that you have that positive action, it helps you like anchor to that. Like, okay, so say your goals are like to get healthier and fitter and like reach your true body and fitness goals. Making the time to wake up and make a balanced, healthy breakfast and then going to the gym, you're working towards your goals, to like what you really want. Just by waking up earlier and doing those things, making time for your goals and what you want out of life. You know, having a morning routine is just going to give you more time to yourself. And we're also busy. Most of us are like communicating with people every single day, all the time. Like whether you have a family or like you go into an office and you have to talk small talk, or like you work in customer service, or even if you just work by yourself, like it's overwhelming, it's draining, and like we don't get a lot of time to ourselves to just like sit and focus on us and how our life is going. You know, it's so easy to hit the snooze button until we like absolutely have to wake up. And then it's like, okay, now I need to rush and get ready and like brush my teeth in like 10 seconds and like grab a banana to go, and like you just feel so out of place, you know, and you're missing out on the important time to yourself, you know, to be organized and setting yourself up for a successful day, because you're just so, like, you're so rushed, you can't do that. You know, you're taking a moment to yourself by rushing around, and you're not letting yourself be grounded. And like grounding yourself in the morning and connecting with you and your life and how you're feeling, like it makes such a huge difference on your life. And this doesn't always have to be like on such a deep intellectual level. Like you don't always need to be like soul searching every single morning, but like just taking that moment to like stare out the window and like look at your view, or like your backyard, or like your time of like bonding with your dog, like whatever it is, just like taking that moment to yourself, grounding yourself, you know, appreciating like where you are, how are things going, like how you're really feeling, and just like appreciating and like being grateful for life. Like you don't have to like deep dive into your soul, but like just like take a moment to breathe. Like take it all in. Like life is so short, and like we rush every single day. Like I have to get this and this done. Like just like slow down, take a deep breath when you can, and just like enjoy it. Because like let's make the most of our lives. We want to enjoy the most moments that we can in our lives, right? You know, we need to check in with ourselves. And some days we will probably check in the morning in like a deeper level because you need it. Maybe there's more things going on in your life, and like you just need to like sit down and like dig deep into how you're feeling. And like that's great. But like other days you don't have to do that. Like it doesn't always have to be like deep intellectual, like soul searching at 6 a.m. Just like take a moment to like take a deep breath, look at your window, hang out with your dog, make a healthy breakfast. Like it just makes such a huge difference to just like take a moment and appreciate life, because it's so wonderful and it's so beautiful and there's so many opportunities. So just like be present with yourself and calm and breathe deeply. So it is time for a break, but when we get back, I'm going to talk about some ways to target your morning routine, to kind of what you're aiming for in your life, and just more on why a morning routine is going to make a world of a difference in your life. So stay tuned.
Are you tired of the same old news? Are you sick of the seemingly endless political spin and negativity? The GSMC America's Still Beautiful podcast is a weekly news podcast covering all the top positive and uplifting news stories. We cover stories that will inspire, uplift, and remind you of the good in the world. Tune into the Golden State Media Concepts America's Still Beautiful podcast to get all the great and positive news stories of today. Download the GSMC America's Still Beautiful podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
we are back to GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Alyssa Jo, and today's episode is just really exciting for me because I've literally been implementing all these things into my life in the past 3 months, and it's made such a huge difference. Like I said before the break, you can target your morning routine to what you need in your life at the time. And you gotta know too, your morning routine is gonna change, so many times. When things are changing and you're growing and, things change in your life, you adjust your morning routine to, what's going on in your life at the time, right? So, you can really target your morning routine to, what you need. If you need to spend more time, with your loved ones, or, if you have kids, maybe your morning routine is, waking up early to, make a full-blown breakfast for your kids or your family, and making sure everyone wakes up a little bit earlier so you can sit down at the table and have time together, eat your breakfast together. Or maybe you want to be a yogi and you can wake up in the morning and do your yoga practices. And I'm not a huge yoga person, but do your yoga practices and take your time and practice your art, what you want to do. You can incorporate more reading time because maybe you want to learn something new. Maybe it's I need to be educate myself more. So maybe you wake up every morning and you read an educational book or an educational chapter or whatever. You can just target the things to what you want in your life. And so knowing what you want in life and your goals and your aspirations, it's so important to know those, and so that you can make the routine that's gonna really help you do that and achieve those things. You can just target to what you want. It's just, what are your priorities? Maybe you want to stretch more. You want to be and you can do it towards goals. For this month, I really want to become more flexible. I'm going to do XYZ stretches every single morning and see where you can go. It's so cool. Just waking up earlier, an hour or two earlier even, makes a huge difference, and tracking your goals from just doing those things in the morning. Say, going back to the yoga example, if you want to be a yogi and you start doing your yoga poses for a month straight every single morning for an hour, and seeing your growth from the 1st to the 31st, it's so cool because it's wow, that's all because of my mornings. And it doesn't even always have to be 7 days a week. A lot of people only implement their morning routine Monday to Friday, or when they're working. So it changes for some people, and that's okay because everyone's morning routine is going to be different. But it makes such a worldwide difference, and you can just target to that and then see your growth. I think that's the really cool part. It's I achieved this just because I woke up an hour and a half earlier than I used to for a month. And once you start doing that and seeing your life improvements just from waking up an hour and a half earlier, it'll just blow your mind. And having a morning routine just helps you show up for yourself. You get your personal priorities out of the way. You do the things that you need to do, and you just show up for yourself before you have to show up for other people. And I mean that as in going to your job. Of course that's also showing up for you, you're working towards your career. But when we go to our job, we're showing up for other people as well. Or when we're going to school, you're showing, it's not just something for you, if that makes sense. So show up for yourself first in the morning, do your personal priorities and the things that you genuinely care about and genuinely love doing or genuinely want to work harder towards. If you do those things first thing in the morning and you tackle those things right away, you're showing up for yourself and achieving the things that you want to do. And then I said, when you look at your progress in a month, it's wow, I showed up to myself every single morning or 5 days a week even in the morning and did those things, and the difference is amazing. It just makes, it's crazy. So it's also healthy, to use your discipline to do the same thing every single morning too. Waking up at the same time and getting things done that you need to do for yourself. It just sets you up for a successful day. It helps you create the life that you want. You're learning the discipline to wake up at 6 a.m. Monday to Friday and go to the gym. that takes a lot of hard work. Like, I'm not saying that, like, implementing a morning routine, especially, like, the morning routine that you truly want, is going to be easy to, like, implement that into your life. But, like, just, like, having the discipline to do that, like, that itself is going to make, like, a world of a difference of your life and how things are going. And, like, as you grow, you find out what works better for you. And, like, you can change your routine as you grow, like I said. Like, your morning routine will change all the time. You'll tailor it. Like, and maybe you will, like, only wake up, like, an hour and a half earlier. And then, like, later on down the road, like, you can ease into it. Then later on down the road, you're waking up, like, 2 hours earlier, like, 2.5, whatever the case is. You know, we're just experiencing life on a day-to-day basis. And we can get so used to, like, going through our everyday life routines and just, like, we kind of just start skimming by. You know, we don't really take things in and, like, let them hit deeply. Like, but by actually taking the time to, like, incorporate the things you really want in your life and, like, the things you really want to enjoy and, like, take more time to, you just, like, learn to appreciate life a little bit more, and you take it a little bit slower. Like, you know, you're really digesting everything that life has to offer. And I think that's so important to live a happy and like, healthy life. Like, just taking everything in. You know, we need to do the things that we actually want to do more often instead of the things we have to do. And it's so hard because we all have responsibilities. We all have commitments. But, like, we need to just slow down and, like, take the time. And waking up earlier than you need to may be something that sounds, like, so challenging. But, like, after a couple weeks, you're going to get used to it. After a month, you're going to be even more used to it. You're going to keep getting more and more used to these things. And you're going to just be enjoying life at, like, such a high level. Like, by just taking the time to yourself. You know, ground yourself. Wake yourself up to who you are. Just, like, be present. And, like, check in with yourself. Like, how am I feeling this week? This is, like, what's going on, like, in my life right now. Like, check in. Like, let those things absorb inside of you. And, like, then you can tackle it in, like, a better way. Like, when we take, like, little times throughout our day and, like, especially in the morning or, like, doesn't even matter anytime, but once we take those, like, even few seconds to check in of, like, how am I feeling, we become more grounded, and then we're able to, like, tackle life's obstacles in a more, like, proper and real and, like, better way than we would have if we were just, like, skimming by and just, like, getting things done and, like, throwing them to the side. Like, we just gotta learn to slow down, take a deep breath. How am I feeling? How do I need to tackle this right now? Like, and that's, like, way easier said than done. And it takes practice to actually slow down and, like, notice, like, really how you're feeling and, like, check in. But, like, I think starting with a morning routine, like, makes that huge difference. Like, it's such a good way to, like, start that and do that. Like, and you're just, like, getting into the routine of doing it. And then once you do it, okay, every single morning I'm checking in with myself, you're going to find yourself, like, checking in, like, the middle of the day when you need to. Because, like, you're training your body and your mind to just, like, take a deep breath and, like, how am I feeling? And, like, you'll notice your improvements. You're going to notice, like, wow, this week I have, like, way more to write in my journal than I did last week. Like I said, your routines they're going to change when you grow, and that's okay. It's actually, like, it's exciting to see how your routines will grow and change to, like, tailor what you want out of life at that moment or what's going on in your life during that time. For me, like, I've learned to, like, keep a notebook of just, like, things that I do in the morning, like my morning routines, I guess I should say. And, like, I don't think morning routines should really be, like, a check-off list. Like, I have to do this, this, and this. Like, you should be growing them into, like, things you actually want to do. It shouldn't feel like I have to do this. But I do write down, like, my morning routine once, like, you know, if I need to switch it up or something. And so now I have, like a notebook of, like, my routines. And I like, date them for, like, the dates that I start them. And then, like, when things grow in my life and things change or I just, like, need to switch things up, then I, like, write a new like morning routine that like I want to incorporate, and then like looking past and like seeing the growth from like just even the changes of your routines. Like it's pretty cool to see, and like it's so important to like recognize your improvements and like the way you're handling life in like a healthier way, like each day, and just like growing each day. So like having that notebook and seeing the way your like morning routines are changing, it's super exciting, and it's like a little like burst of joy inside of you. It's like, wow, like I'm growing, I'm learning, I'm improving, like it's so cool. But I think like the most important thing to do when you're like first starting to incorporate a morning routine is knowing your why. Like, why am I doing this morning routine? On that note, it is time for a break. But don't go anywhere, because when we get back, I'm going to talk more about finding your why for your morning routine and your priorities and how to really narrow those down so you can optimize your morning routine time and create the one that's going to work best for you so you can strive and be happy.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back to GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast. So I'm going to jump right into more about finding your why for your morning routine. Knowing your why is so important. This targets more of like when I talked more about like finding your goals and like anchoring your life to like what you really want. But you really got to know like why you're waking up 2 hours earlier. Like, okay, so like, don't just be like, oh, I'm going to wake up 2 hours earlier because, like, I probably should read more, or, like, I probably should go to the gym, or, like, I probably should spend more time, like, with my brother, or whatever the case is. Like, you really got to know why you're doing it, because you're going to feel more excited to wake up early in the morning. Like, 90% of us will hit snooze a million times. Like, I am guilty for it. I hit snooze all the time. I actually have this terrible habit of setting like 20 alarms because I sleep through all of them, and I turn them all off in my sleep, and like breaking that habit alone is like pretty much like my number one goal in 2020, because I sleep through the things that are important to me, because like my morning routine has become really important to me because I found my why. And so once you find your why, you're going to be excited to wake up in the morning and do those things and like work for what you really want. And you're going to find that like waking up 2 hours earlier is so worth it because of the improvements that you make and the things that you do. And it's just super exciting, right? So finding your why is so great. You know, if your morning routine, you want to feel like organized and grounded, that's great. So sometimes like you're going to wake up, but I shouldn't say like finding your why is so important, and like say that like you want to feel organized and grounded, and some mornings you're going to wake up and you're going to feel like organized, grounded, and content. Sometimes you're going to wake up and you're going to feel organized, grounded, and creative. Or you're going to wake up and feel like organized, grounded, and just like tired, exhausted. And like that's okay, but like it's important to like implement the things into your routine for your why. So like if you really want to feel organized and grounded in the morning, then implement things that are going to make you feel that way. If you want to feel organized, like wake up and like maybe it's like checking your emails and like getting all those things sorted in the morning, or like doing a clean of your house. I don't know, like something that's like going to organize your life, or like meal prepping maybe in the morning is going to make you feel organized for that day. And like, you know, maybe to feel grounded, like maybe you want to do meditation and you want to like implement those things into your life. So like make sure like the things that you're implementing into your morning routine are like the reason behind your why. Like, if you really want to, like, work on your fitness, then, like, you're gonna, you know, work out in the morning. Or, like, you want to be a yogi instructor, you're gonna be working on, like, your yoga poses in the morning. Whatever it is, it's gonna be different for everybody, but it's so important to figure out your why so that you can implement the right things into your morning routine. Don't just read a book because, like, it's good for you. Like, of course, you should read books and it is good for you, but, like, if you don't want to read, like, a new thing, or you don't want to gain like new knowledge by reading like an educational book, like that's not really like a goal in your life, like at this point, then like don't take your time to do that just because you feel like you should. Do the things that you want to do that are actually going to make a difference in your life, because I think that's like the most important. So, you know, if your main idea is to be organized and grounded, now just like ask yourself what you're doing. Is it going to make me feel organized and grounded? Is like doing yoga in the morning going to make me feel grounded? Yes. Okay, great. Now I should implement that into my routine. Is like going to the gym going to make me feel this way? Yes or no? Then like implement that into your routine. Like ask yourself that question every single time that you want to like implement something new into your morning routine. It's just like when you feel your why, you know your why, you can do the things that are like going to make you feel aligned with that and like what you want out of your morning routine and like basically what you want out of your life. So like how do you want to go into your day? You can start your day in any way. And waking up couple hours earlier to just like do the things you truly want, it's just going to make such a difference in like your entire life. So know your priorities, you know. Maybe like your priorities are like you want to like get more creative, and so maybe you wake up and you get your creative side moving by like grabbing your cup of coffee, sitting down and like reading a chapter of your book. Or like you want to feel more organized, so you're checking your emails. So then maybe now you want to move around a bit, so you do some yoga, or you go for a walk outside, or you have like a morning workout. Maybe you just want to change it up sometimes too, like maybe 3 days a week you're going to go to a yoga class, and then a couple other times a week you're going to do some workout at home, or whatever it is, right? You just got to know your why and know your priorities. And then that's, of course, you know, things will change as you grow and like things in your life changes, and that's okay. And that's exciting, honestly. So just know that like it's okay for things to change as long as like your priorities and like knowing your why kind of stays the same. Like your priorities are going to change as you grow, and like your why could obviously change as well, but just make sure that you know your why behind every single thing that you're implementing, because all of a sudden waking up at 5 a.m. is going to feel a lot easier when you're doing it for the reason that you truly want, like not because you feel like you should. So know your why. It's so important. I like can't stress that enough. And just remember to take time for yourself. And like that should be part of your why as well, is like spending that alone time if you need that, and like grounding yourself and like checking in. Like I need to like check in with myself more. Like that's important to me. So like make sure you do that to like check in. Do the things that like make you feel good, make you feel like put together. You know, that you can get more work done, be like more productive. Things that like make you feel more confident. Like a big one for me is like when I wake up in the morning, like part of my morning routine is like to shower and like, well, of course, like everyone showers and gets ready and stuff like that. But like if I like put less effort into like my look or like my makeup or something like that, I feel less confident about myself. And then I realize like I don't get as much done as I want to. So like that's something that's important to me, is to like get ready and like feel good about myself so I can like go through my day feeling like confident and good and like proud. And then I just feel like I can tackle more. And so like it changes for everybody, right? And like, so if you need to feel more confident to like tackle your day in a better mood, in a better way, like, then make sure you take the time to, like, get ready properly and, like, not be rushing. You know, maybe you just, like, want to jam out to, like, music in the morning. Or, like, just, like, feel put together and, like, ready to conquer the world every morning. Like, and it's just going to change your mood, right? So just do what makes you feel good is, like, the most important thing. You know, do the self-care things that you can, like, show up confidently for your day. Like I said, like, for me, like, actually getting ready and, like, putting an outfit together and putting some makeup on and, like, doing my hair, like, that makes me feel good. Like, I can conquer my day. Like, I can, like, do all the things I need to do. I can conquer that to-do list and, like, feel good and, like, confident while I'm doing it. And so you just gotta know what's important to you and your why and your priorities. And then, like, constructing your morning routine is gonna be, like, a lot easier. You know, if, like, being organized and, like, bonding with your dog and, like, taking a moment to yourself, like, outside by going for a walk is important, then, like, do that. It's, like, easier said than done, of course. Like, our alarm goes off in the morning and, like, we just want to sleep. But it's also, when you start, like, kind of figuring out your morning routine, like, what's going to work best for you, map it out a little bit. You know, it's easiest to do it kind of by time. Like, start with the time that you wake up. And like I said before, it's nice to have a notebook with all your morning routines listed. So as you grow and move on with life, you can see the difference between your growth of your morning routines. What's really, really important is, like, waking up at the same time every day, because this helps, like, regulate your sleep-wake cycle and, like, helps with your hormones and your mood. And so making a strong and consistent morning routine, like, your everyday habit, is just also really great for your, like, decision-making capabilities, and, like, it's going to make us more efficient because, like, we reduce the need to make decisions every day by waking up and, like, having a routine and, like, getting the, like I said, like, you're not adding to your to-do list, like, you're getting the things that you genuinely want and need to do done in the morning. And so it enables us to, like, know what tasks, like, we need to conquer, like, without having to, like, contemplate and, like, overthink things either, because, like, we don't have to worry about those things that we, like, know that we need or want to do, because, like, we already did that when we first woke up, and now we can just, like, focus on work or school or, like, whatever, like, your responsibility is. It also just, like, creates structure in our life. Like I said, like, being more organized, like, you're just gonna feel less rushed and chaotic. Like, you have a logical sequence. Like, it provides framework for, like, what you want in your life, if that makes sense. Like, you just feel less of a mess because you got those things done that you wanted to do. It saves us time too, because time is so valuable. And so when we do the things that we need to do in the morning, we have more time to say yes to opportunity, like I mentioned before. And then we're installing good habits. Like, we're developing healthy habits for a positive and happy life and a healthy mind. And it's just going to benefit our lives. It also can, like, help us break our bad habits, like pushing the snooze button. Like, it's a bad habit. Like I said, I set 20 alarms every single day because I sleep through them. And, like, I shouldn't even say sleep through. It's like I know I'm turning them off in my sleep, but I just choose to, like, kind of ignore that I know I'm doing that. And so, like, by implementing a strong morning routine, I'm breaking my bad habit. You know, you reduce, like, the need for determination and willpower. Because, like, when we brush our teeth in the morning, it does not require a lot of determination or willpower, because most of us, it's just, like, part of our daily ritual. You know, we hardly think about having to brush our teeth because we just, like, simply do it. So the same holds true to, like, other tasks when we follow routine. Like, it just becomes routine. And we just, like, build momentum for a day. It, like, gets us going. You know, the longer you stay in bed, the less motivation that you're going to have. For, like, one of my goals of 2020 is, like, not checking social media while I'm in bed, like, in the morning and stuff, or even at night as well, because, like, I have a bad habit of, like, waking up in the morning and then I'm, like, scrolling through all my social medias, and now I'm, like, wasting time, and, like, and then I'm like, oh my god, like, I lose track of time, and then I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna be late, and then, like, I miss my morning workout, or, like, whatever I want to do. So by just, like, getting out of bed and, like, get moving, like, you're building momentum for your day. So start your day with intention. It's going to help you focus. You're going to be able to check in with yourself. You're going to reduce, like, distraction. And just make sure you're starting your morning, wake up, hydrate, and do the things that are important to you. Know your why, your priorities, and wake up every day ready to kick butt and achieve all your goals. I really hope that this episode made you kind of get excited to be a morning person. I just think once you start doing it, it just makes such a huge difference of your life. And if you don't feel like a morning person, quit that belief that you're a night owl. Just implement it. And like I said, a lot of these things can be changed to nighttime if you just simply aren't a morning person. But I just think waking up early and getting the momentum going and achieving those things first thing in the morning, we just get them done and it's easy and we get us going. Because if we wait till nighttime, that's when excuses happen. Okay, it's okay, I could read the chapter of my book, or I could finish this paperwork that I need to get done for work. And so we make excuses to push those things aside. By waking up early, it's okay, I'm doing this, and this morning, and I'm showing up for myself, and it's fine because I haven't even started my work today. So that's not on my mind. I'm just doing this. Really hope that this kind of maybe got you excited to set an early 5 a.m. alarm clock. Thank you so much for listening to GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Alyssa Jo. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to leave a 5-star review, like and follow us on social media, and please hit that subscribe button. I look forward to sharing lots of information with you on life and happiness in 2020. Thank you.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Life and Happiness Podcast, part of the GSMC Podcast Network. You can find the show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcasts on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type in GSMC to find all of our shows. From the GSMC Podcast Network, from sex and relationships to health and wellness, life and happiness, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's episode of the Golden State Media Concepts Life and Happiness Podcast.